You are listening to episode 28 of the 3 Count Podcast, the podcast which covers the week's events in the world of wrestling. So let's get started.
This is the 3 Count Podcast with your hosts, Aaron Phelan, Adam Barlow, and Michael Titley.
Hey everybody, Aaron Phelan here with Adam Barlow today.
Hello.
No Michael, but nonetheless, let's get on with it. Welcome to the 3 Count Podcast. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. 3 Count Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment and our reviews, and so let's get into it. We had WCW Monday Nitro last night. No, joking. It was a very Nitro-esque type of Raw in a way. We had main event Sting and Big Show, which was the main event straight out of 1996 Nitro. But anyway, let's start from the top. Authority promo. I was going to say typical Authority promo, but I suppose it wasn't really, was it?
It's more face-like, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's odd the kind of position that they're in a minute. It's like they're playing heels part of the time, and then they're playing faces the other time. It just seems really odd what they're doing in a minute. But yeah, it was an interesting promo. They announced Sting was going to be competing for the first time ever on Raw.
I didn't expect that one.
I certainly didn't. It was pretty exciting stuff. What else happened in the opening promo? Was there really anything of note that happened?
Nah, just the announcements, really.
Pretty much what was happening on the season premiere of Raw.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Me and Mike was saying this last week. I noticed they did it last year.
I remember it. Yeah, they had one last year. Like, I am aware that they have technically do have season numbers for each episode, but
it just doesn't make much sense, does it?
Did they just think to themselves, "Oh, we need a reason to celebrate.
I think
let's make this next Raw season 25 or whatever."
Yeah, because like I said, last year was the first time that I recall them ever really doing it. And then they've done it again this year. But I just don't get what the need for it is. Maybe it's because, I don't know, does the baseball season or something start in America? Maybe it's a way to compete with that and make them seem like an important night. I don't know, but
just fishing for ratings.
Exactly, as they do. But anyway, it was a season premiere. We was getting kind of a big show according to the Authority. Some title matches was happening. And we basically kicked off with the first title match of the night, Tag Team Championship, New Day, Primetime Players.
Oh, Triple H, Steph with that dance though.
That was so awesome. It's like Triple H went into complete like McMahon mode. He's just cemented himself as a McMahon after that little dance he did.
Went all out.
He's so white, and he's just like such an awkward dance. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty awesome. The New Day was doing the like snow angel sort of thing with the others jumping over. They're just so awesome, aren't they? They're just. I don't know if you caught up on Mike's thing he did last week to try and get at you. How he said he's always loved the New Day. It was like
I stopped paying attention to what he says after. Just whenever he pops up, really.
Yeah, Mike was like...
I was just about to say, though, remember when you guys didn't like him. It's just amazing how they're not just used, but like a lot of people. It's just amazing how they've won everyone over.
Yeah, exactly. It was like me and Mike was saying. They just didn't work at all as faces. Like, when we first saw them before SummerSlam last year and they teased it, I thought, oh, this is awesome. Then, as soon as they debuted as the gospel things, I just thought it was terrible. And then, of course, the night after Mania, that all changed with the New Day Sucks chant. And you just can't believe how they've transformed, really, into possibly the highlight of the show for a lot of people. They had a special on the network last night. I don't know if you caught it. I haven't had a chance to catch it yet. Was it Round Table with New Day or something? Should be pretty fun to watch.
I didn't see that. What did you see? Did you get a synopsis?
I saw a preview of it. They put up on YouTube. It looked pretty good. They was talking about how they kind of begged for this for a while and they wanted the freedom. I think it was Xavier said, give us 6 months to do it, and if we fail, then that's it, I'm like quitting, you can fire me or whatever. So obviously,
see, the thing is, he is a really entertaining person, whether he's on his own, whether he's with the New Day. Like, if you've seen his video game channel, he's a really good presenter, really good host, I should say.
Yeah, he is great.
Very charismatic.
I think all three of them just fit perfectly together.
It just makes sense, doesn't it?
It's crazy to think how long Kofi was there and we've not seen any of this personality at all.
He was the only person I was ever concerned about.
Exactly.
When it first started, I thought, I don't see how... When he turned heel, I should say.
Yeah.
I didn't think he could do it, but if anything, he's the one who's like amazed me the most.
Exactly.
But, well, I mean, next to say, I mean, you can't compare that, but yeah.
It's been
really
like,
amazing.
what, like 7 years Kofi's been there, and he was always a face, and I think stale is definitely the word for what he became, but heel turn's just done so much for him. I mean, when I was going to imagine heel Kofi, I never really saw it as this type of character.
It's really unique the way he's doing it as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Even I can't explain it, but it's just really unique the way he's going about it.
Yeah, they're just absolutely fantastic. But anyway, we did have a title match versus Primetime Players. Pretty good match.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Obviously, it wasn't anything amazing, but it was a very solid match. Enjoyed it. New Day did get the win in the end, which I thought was well deserved. I don't want to see them lose the titles anytime soon. In saying that, though, we have got Night of Champions coming up versus the Dudleys. Not looking too promising for New Day, but I don't know.
It's going to be a good match, that though.
It's going to be a tremendous match. Who do you see winning? Want to win? I know it's not a prediction show, but we might as well just throw it in there.
I'd like to see the New Day retain, but I see the Dudleys walking out. But I mean, that's fine as well. I mean, if it brings more competition to the tag team division, then I'm all about that. Yeah,
definitely. I'd love to see like possibly a TLC match with these. I mean, I know we've got a TLC pay-per-view at the end of the year. If they can
possible
drag out this feud that long, that would be awesome.
Just have a few teams in there. Just throw the Luchas in there. Throw Prime Times in there as well. Make it a big fatal 4-way ladder match or something.
Could we get a tag team title defense to main event the show? That's
it's a push, but
yeah, it seems possible though at this point.
Yeah,
especially with the Dudleys back in a TLC match. But yeah, we've got that one to look forward to. And then we had Paige and Sasha. Pretty cool match from these two. I think they've definitely got a lot of chemistry in the ring. They're not getting the time, I don't think, in a minute to show what they can do. But I think if these two eventually get, 15-20 minutes to go, I think we really would see something special out of these two. We're surprised to see Sasha get the win again.
No. I'm glad she did, to be honest. It's pretty evident that the crowd's just really hot for her right now.
Yeah, they're really behind
even during the matches she's not a part of, we're getting the we want Sasha chants.
Yeah.
The crowd's digging it, man, and I think, I'm hoping that WWE are seeing that. And there's maybe a championship for her down the line at some point.
I'm sure there must be, because just like we say, the crowd want it. She deserves it, so hopefully we do see the title coming Sasha's way some point in the future. Going back to what I asked you, I was kind of surprised Sasha got the win again. It seems, Mike brought it up last week. We all know how much he's a big fan of Paige. He did bring up the point that I didn't really take much notice of, but Sasha's been getting the win a lot over Paige recently. So I was surprised to see her get the win once again with Mike's comments in the back of my mind watching it. But yeah, Sasha got a win. It wasn't really a dirty win or anything, was it? Either.
Clean tap-out win as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
I suppose when you look at it like that, it's surprising, but
I don't think it's the last we've seen of these two.
No, definitely not.
So.
I don't know. I still want to see a match between. I want to see a match between all of them where it's just the two of them with no one else at ringside. Even if they don't interfere, it just still doesn't feel right with
the whole
people lingering.
The whole team thing just is kind of ridiculous as well. Like, I think it was last week as well. Me and Mike was saying it just the whole concept of them being in teams just doesn't make much sense
Doesn't
at all.
bode well.
It's like if we're supposed to be having a revolution, shouldn't they all individually be trying to strive to be the best? It just doesn't make much sense them all being a team. I think it's inevitable we're going to get a turn at some point, possibly on the pay-per-view. It's not going to last forever, all this team business, as we know. Well, we've got Survivor Series coming up. That's an interesting one.
November.
Yeah, that's not too far
I reckon
away.
they're going to drag out until then, so we can have one big, massive elimination match.
Most likely.
I see that happening.
Yeah, that is a possibility. But yeah, we had Divas title defense as well. We'll get to that later. But we had Miss TV. This is an interesting one.
Very interesting.
When I saw Wyatt's announced for this, I was a bit confused how this was going to work, but it turned out pretty well, really.
Yeah, definitely.
We had Miz introducing the Wyatts. Pretty much the Wyatts was going to attack Miz. Reigns and Ambrose come out for the save. It's like, I still get that split, like, second thinking, oh yeah, the Shield's coming out, and it's like, oh no, it's Roman. But I am digging Roman and Ambrose coming out together from the crowd. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But
I just want Roman to start wearing a leather jacket and jeans, and just
that would be great.
I'd absolutely dig that. Yeah.
So yeah, Reigns and Ambrose come out. It didn't immediately break out into a brawl, which was pretty cool. I thought for a second Miz was going to be their partner. Obviously that didn't happen. Ambrose pretty much came straight out and threw Miz out the ring. But I was expecting we was going to get the announcement of who their partner was, because I
was hoping for that when there was that sort of
they seem to really build
stare
it up,
down thing. I was hoping that the music for them was going to hit.
Yeah, because they really had like a long stare down, didn't they? And then it pretty much just ended. I was like, oh right, okay, we're not getting the announcement who it is. Who's your prediction for who it is?
Jey Uso.
Jey Uso. Speaking of that, actually, it's pretty funny how Roman was like, oh, you've made it personal now, taking out my cousin. And like, oh, nice line.
So yeah, I knew someone was going to bring that up. I'm not going to lie, I thought it'd be Mike who'd say something about that, but obviously he's not seen it yet, so...
No. It was a pretty good promo for Roman, actually.
I was about to say that. I think
he
that
needed
was
to do
solid.
that more building to Mania. That's the more sort of promo that fits Roman.
And Dean didn't even say anything, so it's not like people can turn around and say, well, Dean carried it, because he didn't say anything.
No.
He full on said what needed to be said, and it felt real. Yeah, I think he did a good job with that one.
They're doing a pretty good job with Roman at the minute. I think keeping him with Ambrose is doing well. Because obviously them two just bounce off each other so great. And yeah, I think it's doing Roman a lot of good, really.
Definitely.
So
I really can't think who they've got in mind, really.
No, I'm really struggling. I mean,
I'm
possibly
hoping it's
Eric Rowan, but I don't know. That just would
be a bit weird one, though, wouldn't it? Because there'd be no explanation as to why.
It'd be a bit of a cop-out, in my opinion, if that was the case.
There'd be no explanation as to why he decided to leave once he'd rejoined again.
Exactly. I mean, could it be an NXT call?
I was just going to say, could it be an NXT?
I've seen the bad Photoshop of Baron Corbin and stuff going around.
I would dig that, because I've said it before, the first thing I'm doing when I get 2K16 is Baron and Roman. It's going to be sick.
I mean, I get the whole like fantasy thing of it, but it doesn't really make any sense at all from Baron's character perspective. Yeah. He's the lone wolf.
Yeah.
And yet he's coming to team up against the Wyatts. It just doesn't make any sense, but maybe they change his character, who knows. He looks a bit like Roman, so... white Roman, so...
White Roman. Well, I really can't think who they could have, really.
No, it's a really
but
weird
either
one.
way, I'm looking forward to it. Whether it lives up or not is another story, but right now I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe it's Joey Samoa. But yeah, that was that. Obviously, it's pretty exciting to see who's going to team with them. Hopefully, it isn't lackluster. But yeah, interesting Miss TV segment. Wyatt was pretty awesome with it. So yeah, let's let's move on. You're going to have to carry this bit quite a lot now because it was Cena versus Sheamus. I'm not going to lie, this was like my idea of hell watching.
Yeah, enjoy it.
I didn't even really pay much attention to it, to be honest. I'm really sorry.
Yo.
But you should know two of my least favourite people.
I knew you didn't like Sheamus, but I thought you was alright with him.
I'm alright with Cena, but
Mr. John.
It's who he's competing against when I'm alright with him. And seeing him against Sheamus was just kind of like...
I genuinely thought it was a good match. It was physical. It seemed, where you could tell, being in the ring together a few times, they weren't afraid to, really go at each other. I thought it was relatively good. Wasn't fantastic, but I wouldn't say it was bad by any means.
I caught the end of it. That was what I paid attention to, but I like the ending. Pretty cool ending.
It's good, yeah.
Kind of the typical Cena winning ending, I suppose, but it was good. It made sense. Cena to get the win. Don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, well, speaking of the ending, big question. What do you think about Cena's, I would say, not new way, but the way he's been hitting the AA recently? As in, it's just literally, not to quote the RKO phase, but it literally just...
out of nowhere.
With no, he just literally scoops someone up at the most unexpected moment. So there's no setups anymore. He doesn't even try and set up for anyone. No. It's just literally someone will do something. I suppose
he kind of does when he does his crappy springboard stunner sort of thing. That's his kind of new setup in a way. But But no, I do get your point. It is
he could just sort of be like...
He doesn't rest them on the shoulders or anything anymore either, does he? No. He just kind of flops them over. It's like more of a traditional, fireman's carry sort of, snappy, over the shoulder. I don't know, it's just a more fluid, I'd say, way of hitting it. I don't know.
I think it's bad that he's sometimes hitting it when somebody will do something to hurt. He'll be getting up from a move that should have, kept him down. And before he's even fully got up and recovered, he's just hitting it out of nowhere and then winning.
Well, this was my main thing with the main event. I know we're jumping the gun a bit here, but while we're talking about it, it makes sense. I really hated the way he hit the AA on Big Show. It was like...
Just after he'd come back in from
that. He sold literally 5 minutes of struggling to get to the corner, and he was literally getting in no moves at all, and he was struggling to reach for the tag. And then literally Sting comes in and it's, 20, 30 seconds, if that, afterwards. He runs straight back into the ring and is capable of
brings up this 500-pound
Exactly.
giant.
He didn't even, make it look difficult. He just went for the big spot of him hitting the AA on Big Show, which is kind of a spot that isn't as impressive after the amount of times we've seen it now. They still act like it's a massive deal, which, fair play. Picking up a guy that size is a pretty big deal, but still I don't know, it just kind of annoyed me a bit. It's like, come on, where's the psychology with it at all? It's just, you've been selling that move, you've been selling that you're down for 5 minutes and then you're just running in, springing up and picking up this massive guy. It just don't make much sense, but anyway, especially as well with earlier in the match how he was fresh and you couldn't even pick him up for a scoop slam or anything.
Yeah.
Collapse under the weight of Big Show. But anyway, that's that. Back to it. So yeah, it was Cena win. As you say, it was a pretty good match.
Which you didn't enjoy.
It's not that I didn't enjoy it, it's just I didn't really pay much attention to it, so I'm not really in any position to comment on it. But anyway, good stuff. Let's move on. Kevin Owens and Ryback's promo. I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't enjoy this much.
It wasn't as good as...
I mean, Kevin Owens was pretty great, as he is.
He did as much as he could.
Ryback,
it's more like... It was fine once he got talking about what they needed to talk about, but it was more like, why was he out there in the first place, Ryback, that is? What was he trying to do?
Yeah, it's just really bad. I mean, it kind of... was doomed from the beginning with the terrible Elvis Presley impression that Ryback was doing, which it was really awkward how the crowd was dead silent. I mean, we was in Memphis, which is known to be a pretty terrible crowd, but yeah, the crowd was dead as soon as he did the whole Elvis thing, and then he's like, "Thank you very much," and it's like the crowd are silent, mate. What are you even doing? It's just, no one is responding to you, so just stop it.
Stop it, please.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Kevin Owens comes out after Ryback's sincere promos that he seems
and this is where it picked up.
Picked up a little bit, I suppose, but it still wasn't. I don't know. It was kind of awkward, in my opinion. Not to,
especially when he couldn't kick the book out properly. You missed.
You missed.
To be fair, I love how I'll give Owens credit with that one, like to brush it off and just sort of, what's the word?
His improvisation.
Improvise, that was it.
It's so good. His improvisation.
Improvisation. Because I've noticed he does it. Like sometimes when he stutters on his words, a bit of English not being his first language. Which, by the way, I've got to point out, you would not believe English is not his first language. To think that he was born French and he spent half his life just knowing French like that's.
It's funny how he said he learned English like through watching wrestling and stuff.
Yeah,
which is...
it's pretty amazing. But sometimes he'll stutter a word and then without even thinking about it, he'll turn that stutter into an insult.
It's so great. So
like
great.
I always think to the time with Hideo when he said a word and he went, "Oh, sorry," like beginning to sound like Hideo trying to grasp the English language here. Like,
that was such a great moment. Kevin Owens is just great with the improvisation, and I think that's somewhere where Ryback was kind of struggling to keep up with in this thing, especially like say with the book thing going wrong and stuff. It was just, you can see Ryback struggling through it. I don't know, I mean, me and Mike discussed this in another episode. We said it's like Ryback's character is just really strange. It's like, I saw someone on I think it was Reddit comparing to like a baby in a grown man's body, and it's it's kind of like that. It's like he's a really odd character. I mean, I've heard backstage he is kind of a bit eccentric, so maybe that's just how he is.
How do you personally though? Do you enjoy watching him? Whether both competing, overall, I should say.
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Ryback. I think that's kind of been established on this podcast, but I don't know. There's just something with him that I just can't get behind. I can't even really pinpoint what it is I don't like about him. It's just he's just kind of irritating in a way, I suppose. But each to their own. It's just the way I kind of
ready to see him lose the title then.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been kind of a lackluster run with the title. I mean, obviously
I think it's a shame with the injury. But...
yeah, I was going to say, of course, he was out with the injury, so there is that. But the cursed IC title, whoever gets it next is the next to be injured, it seems. But no, it kind of has been a bit of a lackluster title run, in my opinion. But hopefully Kevin Owens gets the win, but we'll see where this one goes. I think he does deserve it. It would be great to see him have a run with the title, but like I said, we'll see what happens there. Stardust, Cosmic Wasteland, as they like to call themselves, Neville and Lucha Dragons had their little brawl up next. I'm really loving this pairing with Stardust and Ascension. Don't know about you.
It's definitely making use of the Ascension, which I personally think should be dominating the tag team division right now, but
yeah, exactly. We've been saying for weeks now on this podcast, months even, that it's a shame the way the Ascension have been treated on the main roster. They've never been made to look credible since the debut, really. But it's pretty cool to see this pairing. I think they work really well together. It makes a lot of sense. I like the comic book thing they're going with. I think that's pretty cool. Neville and Lucha Dragons as well teaming. That's a pretty awesome team. I liked the brawl this week.
It was interesting. It was not a standard brawl. It's cool whenever sort of the smaller high flyer guys start brawling because you're going to guarantee to get some of the cool, dives and all that.
Yeah,
Good shows of athleticism.
Definitely. I think their kick-off match at Night of Champions is definitely going to be one to watch.
Definitely, yeah.
Don't think you'll want to miss that. It's a shame it's not on the main card, but then in another sense it kind of is right in a way, because we shouldn't really be having single non-title matches on a pay-per-view called Night of Champions.
Yeah,
It
definitely
don't really
not.
make much sense, but it happens. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It should be a good one. Hopefully I get a chance to catch it. Yeah, looking forward to it. So next up, we had kind of my annoyance of the night, but anyway, let's go on.
Oh.
Charlotte and Nikki, Divas title.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've been kind of fearing this for months. It's been brought up several times. It was kind of a scary thought in the back of my mind about 3 or 4 months ago, and mentioned it, and now it happened. Yeah, Nikki has surpassed AJ's reign.
You know what? And I'm not saying this to get anyone, but I think she deserves it.
Oof. That is bold. That is the boldest statement
I really do. Like, look at, if you'd have asked me this last year, no, but look at how far she's come, like, over the last year. She has definitely improved. Both in the ring, on the mic, just in general as a character. Everyone despises her, and I really do think that she's done that, like, herself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, I've said it, that Nikki has improved a hell of a lot over this past year.
Like, she's become one of those, like, she's one of those heels, isn't she, where she is one, and, she acts like one, but then when you give her that reaction, she tries to, act like she isn't one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think she's really good at it. Like I say, I think it's just the improvement, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have minded seeing Charlotte, stop her from tying the record, but now that she has, I don't, whether it was done just because, they wanted to raise AJ Lee, or...
I think it's kind of... I think it is. I think it was, and that's kind of what annoys me about it.
Let's just say that was the case, then I think Nikki was not the best choice, but she certainly weren't the worst choice to take over that record. I personally do believe she's one of the best divas they have right now, overall.
Oof, we're getting even bolder with these comments now.
Oh, liking her, yeah?
I just think
I just mean in terms of a full package. I do think she's one of the, the best they have right now in terms of character. Ring work isn't awful. It definitely has improved.
Yeah.
I love how, she's, taking over, like, she's a powerhouse, isn't she? Some of the
yeah.
We don't really, I don't think we have, we do have quite a few powerhouse divas, but none that are actually utilised.
Yeah, true.
Obviously you have Natalya, Tamina, but, they don't particularly get used too much. I think she's different to all the other ones in terms of how she wrestles and all that, and I really think, I personally enjoy her.
Fair enough.
Obviously, the majority of people don't think she deserves it, and fair play, everyone has the reasons, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so is your reasoning for her not, in you thinking she shouldn't have done it just because of the circumstance behind it? Or is it more against her personally?
I just don't think she was deserving of the one to beat the reign, especially when they're trying to...
It's her personally then, not the fact that someone had to beat it.
Oh, no, I was fine. I'm fine with someone beating it.
Okay, right.
They're made to be broken, of course.
Right,
but
yeah.
It just, I don't know, it just... Especially when they're trying to tout that there's a revolution happening, and I think it just kind of seems petty, like... It just seems like they purposefully did it to kind of...
It was just all too quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the way the whole thing was booked was kind of a bit of a shambles. It was a good match. They had flair there, which is always great.
Yeah.
But it was like, one of the lines from Cole, which was annoying, was there are many, including me, who believe the Bella Twins started the Divas Revolution. I mean, that's just a load of bullshit in itself. But strong words, sorry, I know, but I need to let this out. And then,
shit.
And then we get Stephanie McMahon coming out after the match, which just made me burst out laughing when she says she has to protect the integrity of the Divas division. It was like, bitch, please, come on, are you just being ridiculous?
Bitch, please.
Honestly, the whole thing was just a complete shambles, in my opinion. It's like the championship and the division has kind of been treated as a joke for God knows how many years now, and the whole thing was just kind of weird to watch. It's like, why not just restart the match? It's fine when they use Twin Magic to get the win, but as soon as they use Twin Magic to lose, that's like wrong for some reason. And then why not restart the match? It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, your punishment is to defend it at a pay-per-view that's called Night of Champions, where you have to defend it anyway.
She's kind of being punished for it because now she's got the clause where she gets disqualified.
Well, yeah, but
that pretty much says to me that Charlotte is definitely going to be walking out as champion.
Exactly, and again, that doesn't make much sense at all. It kind of proves the point that they was doing it just to be petty. It's like, we're going to have a...
So why couldn't they have just done it?
Beat the record, but instead we're going to have a beat the record, and
by about 5 days or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then she's going to drop it 5 days later. All of it is just a bit of a shambles, in my opinion. It's just annoying the way it's been treated. They could have done so much more with the way it's all been. They could have had competitive matches leading up to it. I mean, I was looking at a stat of the last time she even defended the title, and it was June, I believe, and on television the last time she defended it. I mean, that's ridiculous, in my opinion. It's June, seriously, June. That's just wrong, but nonetheless, she's surpassed it, and that's that. And
don't get me wrong, it is petty, the situation, but I just mean in terms of, I'm just looking at it from a it is what it is point of view. Saying that, I do think from the work she's done, she's really improved. I'm not saying she's the most deserving to break the record, not at all, but for what she's done, I do think she's deserving of it. That's just the way I see it, but I know obviously a lot of people disagree, and that is fine. Everyone sees it differently.
Exactly.
But yeah, I have just to add to it, I am really looking forward to the match at Night of Champions as well.
I mean, at least
this will be what Raw should have been.
Yeah, I mean, at least could look forward to this one, knowing that it probably is going to be kind of a clean finish. It's not going to have the thought of, is she going to surpass the record or not? She's done it now, so hopefully we just get a good match out of these two with...
There's no strings attached on this one, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we get a clean win as well, which is really needed. But let's see how it goes. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Rusev and Cesaro. I was pretty hyped for this one. Two of kind of the best workers, I'd say, at the minute. Cesaro's fantastic. Rusev.
Yeah, Suze, did you think Rusev? I think that highly of him, yeah.
I think he's pretty great, Rusev.
Oh, I think he is as well. I just didn't think you would have thought that.
He's not really one of my favourites, but I can recognise he's one of the best workers there at the minute.
I think he's dope as fuck, man.
I think he's great in the ring. His character's pretty great. I just hated the whole Lana and Ziggler storyline and stuff that me and Mike kind of slated last week. We've done enough ripping on that. But yeah.
What was it you didn't like about that? I mean, I wasn't... I was about it last week.
We just kind of said how the whole thing was very kind of like Total Divas-ish.
Right, okay.
It seemed kind of a bit insulting as well, the whole way it was handled, like TMZ style stuff as well. It just, with the whole backstage stuff and creeping into a locker room, it's like attempted rape nearly. No, it just wasn't. We slated it enough.
We got to see Ziggler's penis though.
That was so close, wasn't it? It was like, Jesus, it's like, what the hell are you doing? But is this PG? What is happening?
It's weird. Speaking of the PG stuff, what happened tonight? Could have sworn last week you had Summer Rae screaming, "You're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bitch," about 5 times. nearly seeing Ziggler's penis, and then this week they kept cutting out the word arse.
Yeah, that. My mum was watching a bit of it actually. She was like, "Why are they cutting out the word ass?" I was like, "Oh, they do that, Mum. It's like the PG."
But that's the thing; you don't normally do that. Like,
no, it just doesn't.
When they first did it, it was like during the earlier hours. So I thought maybe that's normal because usually they do save the sort of edgier bits for the later on in the show when it gets to like 10, 11-ish in a time. But no, it just really surprised me. I mean, it's nothing to complain at. I mean, we all know anyone who watches it in this day and age needs to understand it is a PG show, and that's what it is. But it was just surprising how we go from literally as early as last week.
Yeah, definitely.
To some of that edgy content, and then it
seems like majority of the time they can't make their mind up. I mean, maybe it was as well with this whole Connor's Cure thing that started this week.
It could be that, trying to good impression.
I always hate this sort of stuff.
I was about to say, that got me a bit teary last night, you know.
It's kind of just so annoying that you know they're doing it as well just for good publicity, which it's like you've got a massive sticker on your ramp and you need to do a cut to it every time someone makes their entrance. It's like next month we'll probably have the breast cancer awareness stuff
Susan,
as well. Susan G. Komen as well, which is kind of known to be a bit of a shitty charity as well. They're not known for their good reputation.
I just like the positive T-shirts for that time. I really like what they did last year with it. It might have been the year before, where they replaced all the T-shirts and the slogans on them.
It was like, I like it. Don't get me wrong, the intentions behind it, I suppose, of being a good cause and donating to charity and stuff, but I can just never get over that tweet that Stephanie put out a while back, and it was something like, philanthropy is the future of marketing and stuff, and it's like, seriously, Steph, you just don't go on Twitter and say that, and it's just ridiculous to say. You're pretty much admitting that you're using like death and charity and stuff
as a market.
Yeah, to market your company, and it just, whenever I see stuff like this Connor's Cure stuff, it always just takes my mind to that and thinks, what really are your intentions with doing this? But I suppose they could not be doing it, and it's good that they are in a way. But
well, I think the bottom line is it's not like 50% of the proceedings, 30%, 60%. It is 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you buy one of those bracelets, that's going straight to it. And it's a platform at the end of the day. The WWE is that platform to raise that much money for the charity, and you know, I hope they raise a lot of money.
Something still don't feel right about a wrestling company doing so much charity work, though. That just still seems odd. But
I remember watching this. Weird. I remember watching this video. I can't remember if someone sent it to me or if I just come across it, but I might have just came across it. It was non-WWE or people who had no idea what WWE or wrestling was watching it for the first time. So they started them off with like these, you know, old clips, you know, and they were like, they're like, what the fuck is this meant to be? And then it started showing some of the weird clips, like Mae Young giving birth to a hand, just stuff like that. And they were like, what the fuck is this meant to be? And then, you know, showing more of the brutal stuff, you know, like people gushing blood everywhere. And then they were like, yo, that looks pretty painful. Showing them, you know, just showing like all the risky stuff and things. And he had like different opinions on it. And then you know, before they showed the last clip, you know, you had some of them saying it, you know, you can see they're putting their lives on the line, but it is kind of stupid and all. I don't understand why people would watch something like this. And then the final clip they showed him was the video package for the Connor's Cure thing, and how, you know, Brian was, you know, hugging him, and, you know, and then it was just amazing how that changed their perception.
Yeah, their opinion of it. That's pretty cool.
So the point I'm making there is that it does, doing that sort of stuff does help change their image as a whole, you know, to people who don't fully understand what the product is.
Exactly, is that kind of...
Is that, and that begs the question, is that the sort of image we want people, like...
Yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, there's not too much you can say about it.
Obviously, it makes them look good, but then at the same time, it doesn't explain what we're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's an odd one. It's a strange area to to talk about, really. It's odd knowing what their intentions truly are behind it. We won't really ever know that, but I suppose we could just take it for what it is and say it's a good thing, but it still has that underlying thing where you just think, what are your intentions? But
yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to main event time, and of course we got Sting and Big Show, which is almost 20 years exactly since these two fought each other on Nitro, which is pretty crazy to think about. A funny line as well from Cole again, how far we've come in this industry, and it's like, yeah, how far we've come, and two like nearly 50-year-olds or whatever are competing on Raw, and yeah, that's definitely a long way to come. But no, it was pretty great. We got Sting and Big Show. I was really enjoying these two one-on-one. I thought it was working really well together. I went back actually and watched their WCW match and tried to compare to see how it was. I just basically found Sting wasn't as agile as he used to be. But nonetheless, it was pretty enjoyable. It didn't last very long, but what we got from it, I enjoyed it.
I was really hoping that match would just stay one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly.
And clean, whether it be Big Show winning, whether it be Sting winning or not. But
yeah, that's what I was hoping. But of course, we got the Seth interference. I was a bit disappointed, not gonna lie. Like you said, I wanted it to carry on as one-on-one, but of course Seth did come out, got the DQ. Sting's record in WWE was now 1-1. And then of course we got a main event tag team match announced. Sting and Cena, Big Show Rollins, and I was kind of a bit like, really, was it necessary for this? But anyway,
it was questionable with the Sting getting the clean.
Yeah, like
pinfall up. Oh no, he made it tap out.
Tap out, which is even kind of worse in a way. But I don't know. It was odd. It was an odd one.
Well, typical thought process now would be, well, Sting got the last laugh, so that means Seth's going to win. But we've seen in the past that that's, especially more recently, that's not always the case.
Exactly.
So we can't even, which is good because I used to swear by that logic, and now I'm kind of glad that I can't.
Yeah, it is definitely a good thing. I was just really surprised that Big Show didn't take the pinfall. I mean, why was he kind of in this in the first place? Because isn't he like feuding with The Miz? So it didn't make much sense. It just was kind of odd that you put Big Show in this as kind of the one to take the pin, and then he wasn't the one to take the pin. Your champion was. Well, not even your champion, your double champion. Yeah, it was an odd one, really. The whole kind of thing was booked a bit odd, but who cares anyway? Cena and Sting get the win after an average match. They just can't help themselves ending Raw with a tag match, can they? They just need to end it with a tag match. At least it wasn't a 6-man tag. But yeah, Sting and Cena get the win. Sting's record is now magically 2-1 in one night. So that was pretty good to see them rectify the 0-1 loss to now he's 2-1 in his WWE record, which is pretty crazy that they've now just solved all their issues with Sting looking weak, I suppose. Well, not that he did anyway, really, but from a statistical standpoint, he did. So yeah, decent episode of Raw. I wouldn't say it was anything great. It was enjoyable at times, other times it was questionable, but I suppose I enjoyed it. How about you?
No, I thought it was enjoyable. I'm really looking forward to the pay-per-view now.
Did it feel like a go-home show?
Not as much as I'm used to, but still.
It was an odd one, really. Okay. When you think back, it doesn't kind of seem like it was, but of course, we've got SmackDown, not that much happens on there. They'll probably do a big tag match, as they usually do, on the last SmackDown before a pay-per-view. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It should be a decent pay-per-view. I'm not sure yet if we will be doing a prediction show. That's a possibility. Hopefully we can do, but if not, of course, check us on Twitter for our predictions, as Mike loves to do the Twitter stuff. So
that's all Mike's doing, yeah.
Seems he isn't here on this podcast, tut. So yeah, thanks a lot for listening, guys. Be sure to tune in next time. Check us out on all the usual places. Website is coming soon, we promise you. It's almost done. You should enjoy that when that's launched.
Yeah, move on, man.
I'm pretty proud of where it is. We've just got some little things to sort out with it. But yeah, it's all coming along very nicely. So check us out on all the usual places. Of course, subscribe on YouTube. And we'll catch you next time, guys. See you later.
Thanks very much.
You've been listening to the 3 Count Podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for more weekly wrestling roundup.